Hey, good afternoon. It's October 2nd, 2022. It's been a while since I've posted any videos on the Accord build. I've been pretty busy the last 3 or 4 months since my last posting. Um, got the car about 99% up to speed on the car now. All left to do is get some graphics made for the doors and the part of the hood and the bumpers. Um, for those who've been following, this is basically my 03 Accord that I've done like a Spoon Sports somewhat tribute car, modeling off the number 91 Euro R 2003 race car. I like the color scheme of the Spoon Sports. I kind of created my own graphics to replicate a little bit of that. For people that have been following kind of the stuff I've been doing with the car. Yesterday we did a full suspension. There's all the parts, lots of parts. All the old parts are laying over here on the floor. So what we did on the car, a buddy of mine came over to help me. I got a lift over here, so we put up on the lift. So just kind of walk around as I'm talking. So it's an 03. I did the 06 nose conversion with the JDM lower lip. The Inspire or the JDM amber fog lights. I purchased the tinted and black housing headlight housings. I didn't like the stock ones with the chrome background. I did the satin black. The grille and the lower grille were black plastic. I did a satin black. Also inside the grille, I built a wire mesh backing. It's molded into the plastic, and I added the Euro R badge. That's the Honda part. That was Honda grill emblem is the factory part that was chrome. I painted that. I added the LED turn signal mirrors. These come off of a hybrid Accord 2006, I believe. I had 3 of them. I purchased 2, and I had a spare one for some parts because one of the backing areas was cracked. And I wired those up so the turn signals. I don't have heated mirrors, so I just wired them up for the turn signals and the power mirrors. I actually ran a harness from the turn signals module in here in through the fender well into the tapped into the turn signals. It was easier than trying to run it through the fishing it through the harness and the door. I didn't want to do that. The paint job was interesting. It took me about 4 days to paint. It's amateur. I've got basically a lot of time in the body work. And so when I got done with everything priming and sanding it, I jammed it first. So you have to mask everything really well to do the doors. So everything was jammed out. I had all the seals removed, the door panels removed. I taped up as many items as I could. Of course, I blacked out the window trim like I said in my earlier videos. This was a stainless trim piece. I popped that off that was pressure fitted and painted these black complete. Even the lower weather strips, which were new, were stainless. I painted those black like on the Euro R. They're all black. Honda Accord US does not offer any of that in black. You cannot purchase those parts. And the window trim up here in black is only on the TSX. It's not on the Accord. So if you want to do that, you have to paint them yourself. I shot those in the hot rod satin black also. Door handles were removed when I painted them. Rockers were removed. Bumpers were removed. That's the tail end section. The tail lights I built myself out of the factory housings. They're full LED, turn signal, halos, and brake lights. It's a love-hate relationship. People like them. Some people don't like them on the forums. I like them because I modeled them off the Skyline R30, R31. I love the round tail lights of those, LEDs, and the housings somewhat look like that. And the good thing is I tapped into the original harness, so the plugs are still available. If I decide to take these off and put the factory lights back on, I can. Your R rear spoiler with the full function LED. I disconnected the third brake light from the rear, wired it directly to the third brake light in here, which is through the harness, which there's 3 holes on that fender, the hood, that trunk lid area. I made my own spacers. This is not a direct fit. This is the CL7 Euro R spoiler. I had to build my spacers out of some ABS plastic and a plastic welding knife. So they have Minimal clearance in here, but they fit basically perfectly. When you shut the trunk, it does not hit the quarter panels at all. By mounting my own tail lights here, there's no reverse lights, so I basically made my LED pods. These are reverse lights. They're very, very bright. I've added the Honda Euro R badge on the back. That is a Honda part. The MagnaFlow stainless steel exhaust, which I've had on there. Added my little Spoon Sports. These are reflective. So a little update on what I did to the car yesterday. So everything on the front end is basically new. So replace upper and lower control arms, inner and outer tie rod ends, CV axles. Added the KYB strut and the Eibach Pro Kit, which I think is 1.4 inches. Fully assembled those. Added the Acura TL Type S front and rear sway bars. The front sway bar is a lot bigger than the factory one on the Honda, and it's solid. It's not a hollow pipe. It was fun to fish that through. We had to lower the subframe a little bit and pry bar to get in there to put it in there. And I had to drill out the lower control arm slot to fit the bolts for the Acura TL sway bar end links. Power stop brakes. I had stainless steel lines on the front, slotted cross-drilled rotors, and powder-coated red calipers and their brake pads. Of course, the wheels I've had, those are the 2019 Accord Sport 19 by 8.5s, which they're painted in Toyota Super White. They are not powder-coated. I basically had to fix a lot of curbage on the wheels when I bought them used, and then decided to go ahead and do those in a base clear coat. So it's got 2 coats of white sealer, 3 coats of super white, 3 coats of clear. And I painted the red caps. They were chrome. I painted them red like the grill and the trunk edge emblem. I still have to install the wipers. I did a windshield epoxy here versus the trim because I shaved the roof molding. It's not perfect. Don't really care. I got to do a little more work here on the bottom, but I had to leave a hole here for the drain. I still got to install the wipers. A little bit of detail on the inside. I installed the FRS bucket seats. They fit like a glove. They look great in the car. They have multiple adjustments. They slide way back. I added the Spoon Sports shoulder harness pads. Also upgraded the head unit. The factory radio stopped working, so I installed a Pioneer head unit. I got 6.5 JBL coaxials in the doors and JBL 3-ways in the trunk in the rear package area. Because the radio stopped working. I bought a kit to do all that myself. It's about $400 to do all that, and it sounds really good. The car's looking pretty decent. It's got some spots I need to work on today. I had to wet sand a few spots on there from some clear coat runs I had. But it's coming along. I got, like I said, I've got a friend of mine. He's got a buddy who does graphics. So I've got to get the Spoon Sport logo for the door. The Motul and the Advan, the white decals. I want the white decals to kind of go with the white wheels. The race car had those. Nothing, other than that, that's probably the only graphics I'll have. I got the Spoon Sports banner I purchased and put that on myself. I purchased a Wheel Skins custom ordered 2-tone leather steering wheel wrap, which is the Spoon colors, basically yellow and blue, which you stitch on there. So I put that on myself. Here's a picture of the seat. These FRS bucket seats, they sit a lot lower than the Accord seat. They're very comfortable. The driver's seat has a nice adjustment that you can actually crank on the handle. It'll actually lift the back of the seat up a little bit to kind of lift your positioning. It has plenty of adjustment. You can push this thing way back. It sits a little bit lower to the floor. All the work we did when we cut off the tabs off the Accord buckets to put on these FRS seats, they lined up perfectly with the holes. So got one more thing to do. We still got to do a little bit of alignment on the front just to get the toe set. It's not too bad. We adjusted a little bit before we took it off the lift. It's off just a tad. Getting a little auto air control check engine light. I just changed the module. I don't think I've done the correct relearn yet. It was running fine. I keep resetting it with my OBD connector to clear it. I drove it up the edge of our driveway up in the paved road, take some pictures today. But it's coming along. Like I said, I got a few more things to do on it. On the rear, we did the same thing with the iBox and the KYBs and the TLS rear spoiler, the rear sway bar on the back. I added the Euro Accord graphics on the bottom. And like I said, it's got a couple more things to do on it, and before I can make it kind of street worthy, where I feel more comfortable taking out where the graphics aren't too overbearing. Again, the paint job was 4 days. I did the door jams. Once I jammed it out, underneath it had the trunk lid off the car, so I flipped the trunk lid, back masked the trunk lid, shot the back of the trunk lid, white sealer. Once the sealer flashed, I painted the yellow with the on those, and the door jams I actually mixed based on my paint color, the Phoenix yellow. I can actually add a little clear into that, so when it hardened, I didn't have to come back and lay clear on it. It's actually clear as in the paint per the instructions. And so then I had to go back and retape the doors again, and all the glass and all the yellow parts. Everything I painted yellow, basically the front door, the pillars going back were in gray primer. I had to do all that in the white sealer, let it flash for an hour. All the parts, the bumper, rear bumper, spoiler, taillight assembly, door handles, mirrors, which were 4 pieces in the mirrors, the rocker panels. It flashed. Then I had 2 coats of the Phoenix yellow, let that flash, and then 2 coats of clear. Had a couple runs, so it was hard to see. My makeshift paint booth I built was not perfect, and then when the yellow flashed, I let it cure overnight, and then basically had to go back and peel everything back that I had masked off to the blue now, which was still in gray primer. I went ahead and had my graphics tape, which is some crepe tape I had. I created my own graphics, had a left and a right for the doors and the pillars. And they were reversed, so you had to be careful which one was left or right because the graphic would not come out correctly, including all the way to the rockers. And so then I had to reverse the graphic, so the graphic was covering the yellow, not the blue. And then I had to backmask everything in yellow, and then cover all the parts I had hanging in here that I had hanging in the spot I created to paint. I had to backmask and cover everything that was yellow so I wouldn't get any blue on it. I shot all this in white sealer first, let it flash, 2 coats of blue. This is the spoon blue is proprietary, so I got a blue that's close to it. My paint guy mixed up for me. 2 coats of clear on the front bumper, the lower spoiler, and the grill. This grill area was chrome. I basically body colored that, and let that flash for 2 hours. Pulled all the backmasking off, pulled all the tapes off other than the windows and stuff that were still taped off. And then I had to go and lay the 2 coats of clear on everything. So it was a 4-day process. And that's kind of what I got. It's not perfect. I got some flaws in the paint. There are some small, tiny runs in there. There's some areas in the paint where it's not going to come out. I don't really care. It's just a driver. But that's my my Spoon Sport kind of tribute car. Haven't done anything to the motor. Only thing I've done under the hood is I've added the 06 V6 6-speed manual, the strut bar, which goes all the way across the back of the motor. So it gives a little more handling on it. So I'm curious how this thing's going to handle with all the upgraded suspension and the bigger sway bar. But haven't taken it on the road yet. Hopefully the next couple of weeks I'll get it roadworthy. It's registered and everything. I can drive it. I want to get the front end of the line first before I start. I don't want to tear up my tires. And as much as I'd like to have a different wheel, I like the style of the wheel. It was relatively expensive. I might have $1,400 in the wheels and tires with the materials and stuff. But that's kind of an update on my build. So far, I have a couple of forum areas I've been posting, and it's positive, and there's some feedback. Some people like the paint, some people don't. Well, you know what? I'm from that era. I like the Spoon colors. It's not a Spoon car. I'm not racing the car. I just want it for more handling and something different. And so hopefully you guys like it. All right, I'll put another video out there when I finally get the graphics put on it. We'll holler at you guys later. Bye.